Lakers next.
We'll definitely keep the ball rolling on that. But let's keep going in the podcast cell within the episodes. And now we have to get to my favorite part of the episode. It's time for crew member hot takes, guys. But before we get to our crew member hot takes, we of course have to get to our WHS fan hot take of the week. If you want to send in your fan hot take, DM us on our personals or on our podcast's socials. Check us out in the submissions or even in the comments below. We'll look through all submissions. We'll pick the best one for the show. So I'm going to play the fan hot take, and we do have the voice of the person behind the WHS fan hot take for this week. So I'm going to play that real quick.
This is Surf. You can find me on Elite Lake Show on Twitter. I'm in Cali. I rep the Lakers, 49ers, and Dodgers. And this is the We Hate Sports fans hot take of the week. My hot take is that Kyrie and KD will not be Nets by the start of 2023, 2024.
My
That's
dog.
valid.
Everyone go follow him.
So is that? So wait. So is that this season, or would that be next season?
I think he meant like this upcoming season.
That season.
Okay, so yeah, so then I 50% agree with him because I think Kyrie is 100% gone. I think KD stays one more year and then he regrets his straight next off season.
Nah, bro. I think if Kyrie's gone, KD should be gone.
Yes, I agree with you, but there's no way. And PC, you could back or Gianni, you could back me up, or Shawn, you're a basketball guy too. You guys are basketball gurus. You can back me up on this. Losing Kyrie. It sucks. You feel me? It sucks clearly, and it's hard to explain that. But there's no way the Nets can start the season without Kyrie and Kevin Durant on the team. You have to have one of them, bro. There's no
KD would
explanation.
sit.
There's no
KD
way to
would not
explain that
stay,
to
bro.
fans.
Yeah,
Bro, KD, they're going to if there's a way to force KD to stay, they're going to do it. I guarantee KD will be on the Nets this season. Now, does he get traded in midway during the season or next offseason? That's a completely different story. Before the trade deadline, that's a completely different story. But I promise you, Kevin Durant will be starting on the Nets this season, 100%. When the season starts, he's a Net, bro. Bro, the Nets have too much to lose. Me and PC had a debate last week about this, bro, for the listeners. You remember, PC, about how the Nets absolutely cannot afford to. They can't lose Kyrie at all. But now if you lose Kyrie and KD, bro, yeah, good luck with that. I mean, because we already think that Kevin Durant is gone next offseason. Most of us agree that if it's not this season, it's next offseason. Imagine, no, it's just not happening, bro. It was a good take though. I 50% agree, but I can't 100% agree because of what's at stake for the Nets.
I think it may actually happen because like the way that this like situation is working out between Kyrie and KD, this is only going to get worse before it gets better. And Kyrie and the Nets are already at impasse. KD hasn't talked to the front office ever since the season ended for them. Like it's looking like more and more.
Realistically, no bias.
KD,
No bias. Let's realistically. Where can you see KD? What jersey will KD have on at the start of the 2023 season? PC, Gianni, Shawn. I actually want to know everybody's answer. I'm actually interested.
No, honestly,
if it's
like,
not a
if
Nets jersey, what number is gonna what jersey?
Because if I say the Sixers, I'm biased. If I say anybody else, it's non-biased.
Okay, so PC, if you think the Sixers, why? And I want to know what's the trade package for that?
Why wouldn't it be us? If we can swap Tobias Harris and flip Harris, Danny Green, and we'll throw in another young player that the Nets may want for Kevin Durant, as long as it isn't Tyrese
Danny Green, the man that just tore his ACL.
Just let me finish. If it ain't Tyrese Maxey, as long as it isn't Tyrese Maxey, James Harden, or Joel Embiid, I'm all for trading whatever I need to trade in order to get Kevin Durant.
You wouldn't trade.
You have to trade Tyrese Maxey.
You wouldn't trade Tyrese Maxey or James Harden for Kevin Durant.
That's the thing. Y'all told me that we need to trade. Y'all told me we needed to trade Tyrese Maxey in order to get James Harden. That didn't happen. So
James Harden
and this is Kevin Durant.
James Harden to Kevin Durant.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm understanding though. Like, y'all told me we needed to trade Tyrese Maxey in order to get James Harden. That didn't happen. In order to get Kevin Durant, especially if he doesn't want to be there, especially if Kyrie tests his tests his waters in free agency, like KD will want to leave. He will want to go anywhere. And he already likes being a villain. I know a place where villains are welcome. It's Philadelphia.
My gosh. He really just quoted Jimmy Butler. This is insane.
We'll start with Gianni. What's your hot take?
Talking about KD, if Kyrie gets traded to this is my hot take of the week. If Kyrie ends up going to LA, I think to spice up things between Memphis and Golden State, I could see KD getting traded to the Memphis Grizzlies to spice up the Grizzlies and the Warriors.
That'd be fun.
That would definitely be fun, considering that team is full of a bunch of Twitter fingers too. KD would fit right in. Shawn, what's your hot take of the week?
I think I'm going to do a fantasy football hot take. But first, I'm going to slander Tolu. Because why not slander Tolu? Tolu, you are so biased. You hyped up Hollywood Brown forever. That man was really never anything special. He was fast. He sometimes got open deep.
I never hyped
up No. Don't lie to us. We all heard you. Now that he's
yes, you did.
I hate fans like
when
you.
did I hype him up?
The second he's off the team, you'll turn on him. But when he was a Raven, you overrated and constantly hyped him up, and you were wrong and you were dumb. However,
I mean, wow. So forgive me for trying to hype up a wide receiver on my team. I'm
being
sorry.
ignorant and immediately turning on him. Yes,
I'm not turning on him. How am I turning on him?
You call him a bum. You call him overrated.
I did not call him a bum. I did not call him a bum.
He was also that when you hyped him up and called him underrated. Anyways,
whatever.
The point with that being, his replacement as the Ravens wide receiver one, Rashad Bateman, is actually underrated, is actually very good, and can be the Ravens wide receiver one. I loved Rashad Bateman coming out of Minnesota. He was a first-round pick. He has all the talent in the world. He's an amazing route runner. He can actually catch the ball unlike Hollywood. He is one of, if not my number one favorite fantasy football sleeper. So if you have, Tolu, shut up! We're not asking you. You hyped up Hollywood Brown.
This is my team. What do you mean? This is my team.
Your opinion doesn't matter.
No, I did not. I said Rashad Bateman is better than Hollywood. I've been saying
Rashad Bateman is a huge sleeper. If any of the listeners have fantasy football league drafts coming up, take a look at Rashad Bateman. You will not regret it.
Sean is right about that. Rashad is special, and he's going to show.
I just want to say I hate you so much. Let's get to TK.
I thought nobody would. I was trying to get them to shut up, bruh. But all right. So here's my hot take. So we already know that it's going to be about the Nets, and as far as Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, we already know where I think Kyrie Irving is going. DC. I'm going to say it again just to annoy you. He's a Laker, bud, and you're going to have to accept it. Now, as far as Kevin Durant, being realistic, here's my hot take. If the Miami Heat, for whatever reason, and even though I do believe that they will land Donovan Mitchell, but let's just say that they don't land Donovan Mitchell. My hot take is going to be that the Miami Heat, if they cannot land Donovan Mitchell, DC, I'm sorry, it's not your 76ers that are going to land Kevin Durant. It's going to be the Miami Heat.
Pettiness. This is such pettiness. How are you so high that you cannot come up with another hot take?
No. Wait, what are you talking about? I didn't come up with a hot take for Kevin Durant. I literally just said I did the Kyrie Irving one just to annoy you, and just because they happen to be a trade package.
I will say, if Kevin Durant wanted to get traded, Bam Adebayo would blow any Sixers trade offer out of the water.
Sean, I'm glad you said that.
But there's already been reports that outside of Jimmy Butler and Bam, the Heat are willing to trade everyone except Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo.
But
Yeah, of
Kevin
course they're
Durant
gonna
is
say
an
that. Of course
exception.
they're gonna say that. Kevin Durant, yeah, exactly. I promise you, they're in they're in that office saying that Kevin Durant is the one exception. Because I understand it's scary, bro. Because you just got James Harden, and you think James Harden is supposed to be this player that got you over the top. He's supposed to be top for Embiid, free Embiid, man. Sorry for
It's
it.
been one season.
But listen,
One
you're
season.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So I won't troll too much. But listen, PC. Whether it's a Bradley Beal, whether it's a Kevin Durant, whether it's a Donovan Mitchell, I do believe that the Miami Heat are going to land one of those guys. And if they can't get Donovan Mitchell, option 2 will be for Kevin Durant. Donovan Mitchell is going to be the number 1 option because of age, clearly. Kevin Durant will be the second option, and I think Bradley Beal will be the third. But honestly, I honestly do believe that the Miami Heat are going to land an All-Star, bro. Like they're going to name a huge name, and that's Donovan Mitchell or Kevin Durant on the back of that jersey, bro. I honestly, I said Bill, but I really don't think that Bill's leaving. I completely agree with Sean. What Sean said earlier, I just don't think Bill's ever going to leave. So it's going to be Kevin Durant and Donovan Mitchell.
It's going to be Donovan Mitchell. There is no Kevin Durant in that correlation. And if you don't get Donovan Mitchell, that's the Heat's loss. But Kevin Durant going to the Heat, I don't see that happening.
But why? If they can't land Donovan Mitchell, what makes you think they're going to wait? Listen, okay. If they can't get Donovan Mitchell, what makes you think they're going to stop chasing stars? I don't understand. Like, do you think they're just going to stop? Oh, damn, we couldn't get Donovan Mitchell.
I don't think they just stop chasing stars, but I don't think they'd be having I don't think it would be like they don't have assets that they want to trade to get Kevin Durant.
Gianni,
that's what I'm saying.
Gianni, do you think? Because Sean's already said he thinks that it'll be that. I don't think they'll ever trade Jimmy Butler. PC, I'll give you that. I don't think they'll trade Jimmy Butler at all, ever. After what this man just did in a playoffs, bro, you can't trade a guy like that. But Bam, a guy who deals with injuries, PC, you got to admit this. I understand his age and everything, and the ceiling, it's high. But if you can get a guy like Kevin Durant, build a package around Bam, you take that in a snap of a finger, bro. And PC, you got to admit that's true, bro. Come on, bro. If you don't believe that, you're saying that you're basically saying you're choosing Bam over KD. Is that what you're saying for the Heat? Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I'm saying.
Ahead, I want to tell you something, TK. I'll trade everyone except Jimmy for KD. Everyone.
This is a Heat fan saying this. This is a Heat fan.
You should, as you should. I'm not saying that the Heat wouldn't do that. I'm not
You should
saying
be trading
Pat Riley
everyone but Embiid. But you're too stuck on keeping Harden and Maxey.
I agree, PC. I agree. You got to trade
Why
everything.
would I trade Tyrese Maxey? This man is a future All-Star. Y'all try pushing
Kevin Durant is a current.
Y'all try pushing this narrative with James Harden, saying that we would have to give up Maxey in order to get James Harden. Now we have to give up Maxey in order to get
You got James Harden for nothing because his value declined because he became washed.
Especially if Kevin Durant wants to leave Brooklyn. If Kevin Durant gets in contact with James Harden, they can mend that relationship that might have been a bit severed during James' time there because James knew that the Brooklyn Nets organization has been false. It's been false for years. They've been hoaxes. All right. They've been blinded by the star power of Kyrie and KD. Now that hasn't worked out. Now they are trying to move on from
but
at
what
least
does that have to? Okay, but what does that have to do with making a trade for him? I understand fixing amends and everything. But what does that have to do with a trade? You would still have to trade a Maxey or something like that.
Because James Harden has said when we got James Harden, he said that he initially wanted to play with Joel Embiid during his time in Houston. They couldn't get the trade to get Embiid to Houston. So the Sixers has always been the number one option for James Harden. I bring up the fact that what I just said, because if James Harden could force his way out of Brooklyn in order to get to Philadelphia, why couldn't someone like Kevin Durant force his way out of Brooklyn to get to Philadelphia as well? Because what y'all are saying, if we want to trade for Kevin Durant, we would have to give up Tyrese Maxey because Kevin Durant is currently a top 3 player in the world, correct? Well, why couldn't a top 3 player in the world not force his way to another team, a team that he wants to play for? And if we get Kevin Durant, I can guarantee you right now, the Sixers are going to the finals. Doc Rivers be damned. So I'm saying
you said this when you got James Harden. We heard this story. You said you was going to the finals when you got James Harden. We saw what happened, bro. It's not about getting
if we get
Kevin
Kevin
Durant.
Durant, we are definitely going to the finals. If we get Kevin Durant, we're definitely going to the finals. Especially if we all stay healthy. Joel Embiid in the Miami series wasn't healthy. So if everyone stays healthy, like I said, Doc Rivers be damned. We're going to the finals. With that team, it's finals or bust. That is what I think.
I can tell you one thing: if the Heat get Donovan Mitchell, it's not going to be as easy as you think it is, because that's going to be your toughest opponent right there.
I'm not saying the path will be easy. All I'm saying is it's finals or bust. So let's go now to our last person for hot takes. Let's go with Tolu.
I'm gonna ruffle some feathers with this one, but I don't care. So, the Golden State Warriors won the NBA championship. Congratulations, Golden State. You won your 7th title, your 4th title in 8 years. Congrats. Bay Area should be honored. Stephen Curry won his first finals MVP. It was about damn time he showed up in the finals, but we're not going to get to that. But I saw another player in Andrew Wiggins that, for some reason, I have no idea. I've been watching Andrew Wiggins since he was in high school. When I saw his first high school mixtape, and they were calling this man the Maple Mamba. The Maple Mamba. He's the next great. And when I saw this man in Minnesota, I was like, this is the man that y'all called the Maple Mamba? This is the guy that y'all said is the next Kobe, the next great player, the next franchise player? So, he gets traded to the Golden State Warriors, which was a highway robbery. And he goes in the finals, and he balls the hell out. He's making mid-range shots. He's making three-point shots. He clamped one of the best young guys in Jason Tatum. Held Jason Tatum to 30% shooting every time Wiggins was on Tatum. He had Tatum in a prison cell. We're playing locked up by Akon every time Andrew Wiggins was on Jason Tatum. So my hot take is, since Adolph Silver wants to protect his precious Golden State Warriors and wants to protect precious Stephen Curry, my hot take is Andrew Wiggins should have gotten Finals MVP over Steph Curry, because Andrew Wiggins was defending Tatum. He's defending his butt off. Every time Jason Tatum had Wiggins on him, he passed the ball. He turned the ball over every time, because Andrew Wiggins had that man in a prison. And don't forget, right after Steph Curry dropped 40 that one game, Andrew Wiggins, the very next game, was the reason why the Golden State Warriors won the last 3 games. Because Andrew Wiggins was defending his butt off on the perimeter. He was hitting shots, and he was the second. He was even better than Klay Thompson. He was better than Draymond Green. Andrew Wiggins should have won MVP. But because Adolph Silver wants to protect Stephen Curry and his precious Golden State Warriors, they had to give it to Steph Curry, basically saying, here, good damn. That's what they said to Steph Curry, when it should have been Andrew Wiggins.
Tolu, do you not realize Steph Curry averaged 30 points a game on amazing efficiency? Get the LeBron dick out of your mouth and stop.
Show the fourth quarter stats. What was his fourth quarter stats? What was his fourth quarter stats? What was his fourth quarter stats? Show me his fourth quarter stats.
What was his blowout every game?
His fourth quarter stats were terrible.
His fourth
quarter stats were
terrible.
Being
a hater
isn't going to change the fact. His fourth quarter stats were terrible. Andrew Wiggins was the best player in the fourth quarter.
And is a top 10 player of all time. And is 3-1 in the finals against your GOAT. You are being a hater. You are being an ignorant, and you are making absolutely zero sense.
I couldn't take more of that. Just start doing your daily thing, Sean. So for my hot take for this week, it also has to do with the Golden State Warriors, but trust me, guys, it's not going to be as biased as the Bronsexuals. It's actually about Draymond Green. Now, I know Draymond Green, he gets a lot of slack for a lot of stuff that he does. Draymond Green, um, he isn't everybody's cup of coffee. That's understandable. Draymond Green, he is not, going to be your son's favorite player. He may not be, your favorite player's favorite player. But one thing that Draymond Green has done throughout his entire career is learn how to win. He was a winner during his time at Michigan State. He's been a winner during his entire tenure with the Golden State Warriors. He has the resume to back it up. He's now a 4-time champion. Okay. And in that game 6, that closeout game, when the Warriors needed somebody to step up in order to secure them their 7th championship in their franchise's history, I saw Draymond Green do something that I haven't seen him do since at least 2018. And that was make a mid-range jump shot in the 4th quarter of a closeout game. Something that I have not seen Draymond do since 2018. It's been very long since I've seen Draymond Green play as well as he did in that game. Draymond Green almost messed around and had a triple-double in that closeout game for the Golden State Warriors. He finished with 12 points, 12 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. He's now a 4-time champion, former Defensive Player of the Year, multiple-time All-Star. I think it's time we start putting some respect on Draymond Green's name. And that's why my scorching hot take for this week is that I consider Draymond Green a top 5 power forward of all time. I don't think I would put him 5, but I think he has earned the right to be in that conversation. At least put him at 5. He has the resume for it. It's just a matter of time. And if he somehow gets another ring or a couple rings by, the end of his career, I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that he is a top 5 power forward of all time. Because I think Draymond Green is smart enough to get a coaching job in the league once he retires. He's definitely going to be an analyst for TNT. But Draymond Green, in my opinion, has earned the right to be considered a top 5 power forward of all time.
PC, who are you kicking out? Charles Barkley?
Because
between these are the names that I would have: Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone.
I'd probably kick out Malone. I'm
not going to defend the pedophile, but just purely from a basketball point, I would probably have him in my top 5. But I'm not going to sit here and give an argument for him.
I totally get it because, there should be no doubt who the better shooter between the two is. But, Malone never got the ring too, which is, I think that should be discussed. I know Charles didn't either, but at least did Malone win an MVP in his career? I want to say yes, but
I'm not entirely sure.
All right, well, I know Charles did win one, so at least he had that, and he's been to the finals. So Barkley had that. Draymond will never get to that MVP level, but at the very least, I think he has done enough in his career to be considered a top 5 point guard of all time, or power forward of all time. Excuse me. PC. He's a facilitator too, which is rare. Like when is that talked about when you talk about power forward? But go ahead, Gianni.
Karl Malone won 2 MVPs, 97 and 99.
All right, well, there you go. So you can still make the case for Malone being top 5, but if I had to make a list, I would say, in this just unofficial, the names that you said, Shawn, Tim Duncan, Charles Barkley, Dirk Nowitzki, Kevin Garnett, and Draymond Green. That would be my top 5. At least right now. I may change my mind in the future, but like I said, I think Draymond has finally earned the right to at least be in that conversation. So that's my hot take for this week.